For a moment, the world stilled. Beyond the palace walls, beyond the headlines, and the whirlwind of public life, a mother knelt in the soft grass of her garden, her camera focused not on a prince, but on her little boy. The image released for Prince Louis's 6th birthday was more than a photograph. It was a quiet testament to a family's resilience, a glimpse of normalcy fiercely protected, and the work of a woman who, through her lens, showed the world not just a royal child, but a child simply, joyfully being. The soft, golden light of a late spring afternoon filtered through the budding trees in the private garden of Adelaide Cottage. It was the kind of light Catherine, Princess of Wales, loved best, warm, forgiving, full of life. She adjusted her stance slightly, her knees pressing into the cool, damp grass. Before her, Louis was a whirl of unchecked energy, his laughter bubbling up as he recounted, with great theatrical flair, a story from a school day involving a particularly brave beetle. His school jumper was slightly askew, a smudge of what might have been soil adorned his cheek, and his blue eyes sparkled with pure, unscripted joy. This was the challenge and the reward, to capture not just a pose, but a feeling. She waited, her finger hovering near the shutter. She knew this dance well. The trick was patience, to become part of the scenery so the moment could unfold on its own terms. George and Charlotte had been her subjects for years, their portraits charting their growth from toddling infants to poised young children. But Louis, her youngest, had always brought a different energy to these sessions. His spirit was irrepressible, a comet of mischief and affection. As he paused to examine a ladybird on a blade of grass, his face transformed into a mask of wondrous concentration. The setting sun caught the glints of gold in his hair. Click! The sound was soft but decisive. She reviewed the image on the screen. There he was, her 6-year-old, suspended in a perfect, natural bubble of childhood curiosity. It was the one. She smiled. "All done, Lou," she called, her voice warm. He bounded over immediately, not to see the picture, but to wrap his arms around her neck in a grassy, exuberant hug. The camera was set aside. The mother now held her son. Later, in the quiet of her private office, Catherine worked on the image with a practiced eye. The editing was subtle, a slight brightening of the eyes, a gentle adjustment to the warmth of the light, always aiming to enhance, never to alter the truth of the moment. She thought of the public, of the countless well-wishers who would see this photo. She wanted them to see Louis, not just Prince Louis. The choice to release a photo she had taken herself was deeply intentional. It was a thread of connection, a way of saying, "This is my view. This is our normal." When she finally sent the approved file to the communications team at Kensington Palace, she felt a mix of vulnerability and pride. This small piece of their private world was ready to be shared. The digital release of the photograph was instantaneous, a quiet ripple that spread into a global wave of affection. At Kensington Palace, the communications team monitored the response, but the metrics of likes and shares told only a fraction of the story. The true impact was in the comment from parents everywhere who saw not a distant prince, but a child who got grass stains on his knees and had adventures with insects. They spoke of Catherine's skill, noting how the photo felt real and unposed, a stark contrast to the often formal royal portraits of the past. Newspapers and websites splashed the image across their front pages, but the headlines focused on Catherine's loving snapshot and Louis's joyful moment, centering the narrative on family and maternal artistry rather than mere ceremony. Within the walls of their Windsor home, the photograph took on a different, more profound meaning. For William, seeing the image was a moment of poignant reflection. He saw his wife's patience and love encoded in the pixels. He saw his son's fearless character, a trait so reminiscent of Catherine's own playful side. It served as a tangible anchor, a reminder of the core they were protecting amidst unrelenting public scrutiny. He made a point of showing Louis the picture on a tablet. "Look, that's Mummy's brilliant photo of you," he said. Louis grinned, more interested in the memory of the beetle than his own face, but pleased nonetheless. For Catherine, the public's embrace of her work was a quiet validation. It wasn't about being a photographer, but about using her chosen tool to redefine how her family connected with the world. It was a statement made without a single word. This is us in a moment of ordinary happiness. The photo also became a subtle, powerful emblem of the family's current chapter, one of consolidation, healing, and focused privacy. After a period of profound turbulence and very public challenges, the image of a beaming, carefree Lewis, captured by his mother who was now steadily returning to public duties, signaled a season of stability. It reassured the public of the children's well-being and of Catherine's strength. Analysts noted that the Wales family was mastering a new mode of modern monarchy, one where controlled, personal disclosures built deeper bonds than any number of official engagements could. The photograph was a cornerstone of that strategy, a gift of genuine emotion that fostered more goodwill than any press release ever could. The birthday itself was a private, joyful affair, a world away from the flashing cameras and public gaze. There were no grand reveals or staged celebrations for the lens. Instead, there was the chaos and delight of a family party. A lovingly decorated cake, likely adorned with dinosaurs or race cars, was met with Lewis's eyes wide with excitement. Presents were opened with tearing paper and shouts of glee. George and Charlotte participated in the festivities, their dynamic with their younger brother a mix of gentle teasing and fierce loyalty. The sounds that filled their home were universal. Laughter, the clatter of plates, the singing of an off-key happy birthday. Catherine and William were not prince and princess in these hours, but Mum and Dad steering the fun, wiping frosting off faces, savoring the beautiful, mundane chaos of parenting. In the days that followed, as the public conversation around the photo gradually settled, its legacy began to cement. For Lewis, it would become a bookmark in the story of his childhood. Years later, he would look at it and perhaps not remember the ladybird, but he would feel the essence of that spring afternoon, the safety, the love, the freedom of being 6. For the monarchy, the image represented a successful evolution. It proved that authenticity could be a powerful currency, that a single, genuine image could humanize an institution more effectively than a dozen polished tours. It bridged the vast distance between crown and citizen through the universal language of a parent's love. And for Catherine, the woman behind the camera, it was a reaffirmation of her own path. In that frame, she had fused her roles perfectly. The devoted mother, the supportive wife, the dedicated public servant, and the artistic individual. She had used her voice, which in this case was her lens, to show truth. The photograph was a punctuation mark in their ongoing story, a promise that despite the unimaginable pressures of their lives, the heart of their family, these messy, real, joyful moments would not only endure, but would be the very foundation for which they all drew strength. The world had seen a sweet birthday picture, but those who looked closer saw a manifesto of resilience, of normalcy, and of a love that aimed always to keep the cameras of the world at a gentle, respectful distance so that a little boy could grow up with room to breathe, to play, and to simply be.